You know that feeling, that really specific, heavy feeling when you look at your life and you've basically ticked all the boxes. You graduated, you got the job, maybe you got married, bought the house. On paper, everything looks perfect.
A resounding success. You did everything you were supposed to do.
Exactly. But inside, you just feel completely lost.
It's that classic now what problem. You've climbed this whole ladder only to look around and realize, wait a second, is this even the right wall?
Yeah, you feel like a passenger in your own life. Someone else is driving and you're just along for the ride.
And that's exactly where we're starting today.
We are jumping into a fascinating book called From Leadership to Entrepreneurship by Osama Muhammad al-Shami. And I have to say, right off the bat, this is not your typical dry business manual.
No, not at all. It's actually written as a story, a dialogue.
Which is a pretty bold choice, isn't it?
It is, but it works because leadership, it is a journey. It's a story.
It's this conversation between two main characters. You have Al-Abid, the intelligent one, our lost protagonist, and then you have Al-Hasif,
the wise one, the expert. And their chat, it frames the whole mission of our deep dive today.
Which is that huge transition from being passive in your own life to becoming a self-leader.
And eventually, maybe even an entrepreneur. But the core conflict, the starting point, I think this is going to resonate with absolutely everyone.
It's this idea that before you can lead a team or a company or anything, really, you first have to conquer the single most difficult, most stubborn employee you will ever manage.
Yourself.
Who is, let's be honest, always the one causing the most trouble. I'm a terrible employee to myself sometimes.
Oh, we all are. It's universal.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We meet Al-Abid. He's just wandering around the city. He's in debt, totally stressed out, just adrift.
And he ends up in this coffee shop where he meets the wise Al-Hasif.
And you expect a mentor to just start dropping, stock tips or management secrets. But that's not what happens.
No, he stops him cold. He basically says, hold on, you're not ready to learn yet.
I loved this part. It's the 7 keys to learning. It's like a prerequisite course before you can even get into the actual book.
Filter, right. Al-Hasif is saying that learning isn't passive. You can't just let it wash over you.
You have to grab it.
You do. And the first key is so practical. Clear the mind. You can't be distracted. You can't learn strategy if you're worried about an unpaid bill.
It's that cognitive load idea, right? If your brain's RAM is full, you can't install any new software.
Exactly. You have to close some of those mental tabs. But the key that I found most interesting was number 4, social learning.
Oh, yeah. He says you shouldn't just read it alone. You should talk about it with 2 or 3 other people.
Which is so counterintuitive to that image of the lone wolf leader, studying by candlelight.
Totally.
But knowledge really cements itself really fast.
He's also big on active notation.
Yeah.
And not just highlighting, which I am so guilty of.
The whole page turns yellow.
The whole book is neon, but actually writing down where you agree and, more importantly, where you disagree.
That critical engagement is everything. But the last key is the most direct, self-assessment. He basically says, test yourself before and after.
So you can actually measure your own growth.
You can't manage what you don't measure. And that includes your own knowledge.
Okay, so Al-Abid agrees. He clears his mind. He's ready. And they finally get into the core concept, self-leadership. Now, this is a buzzword we hear all the time.
All over LinkedIn.
But what does the author actually mean by it? Because it's more than just like setting an alarm clock.
Oh, much deeper. He defines it as the direction of your feelings, your senses, your thoughts, and all your capabilities. The drawn goal. It's total alignment. But here's the kicker, the quote that the whole book hinges on.
Lay it on us.
Either you practice self-leadership or you surrender it to others.
Wow. That's heavy. It's binary. There's no middle ground.
None. If you don't pick your destination, your boss will. Or your spouse, or your parents, or just society in general. You become a background character.
So to explain why this is so hard, the book uses this really visceral metaphor for what it calls the self.
It calls it a beast.
A beast, like an animal.
Yes, think of a wild horse. By its nature, the beast loves comfort. It loves laziness. It wants to follow its desires. And it hates discipline.
I think I know this beast.
We all do. And Al-Hasif explains that your conscience will have to be the writer. If you tame the beast, it'll carry you to amazing places. But if you let the beast lead,
you end up on the couch for 6 hours and you're supposed to be starting a business.
Precisely. The beast doesn't want to build an empire. The beast wants a nap right now.
And the technique he teaches to do this taming is called looking at the self from above.
It's a visualization exercise.
I tried it. It's a little trippy. You have to imagine literally floating out of your body and watching yourself like a teacher watching a student.
It's a dissociation technique. It's all about creating objectivity. Because when we're in the moment, we justify everything. Oh, I'm tired. I deserve a break.
Old excuses.
Millions of them. But if you see yourself from above, like an employer watching a security camera, you see the truth. You see you're not tired. You're just avoiding a hard task.
You stop being the lawyer for your bad habits and start being the judge.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, so once you're up there, looking down at yourself, you need a way to analyze what you're seeing. And this is where the book brings in a classic corporate tool SWOT analysis.
Right. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But applied to a person, not a product.
So strengths and weaknesses are internal. My strengths might be I learn fast. A weakness could be I'm disorganized.
And opportunities and threats are external. An opportunity could be your company offers tuition reimbursement. A threat could be, your industry is being automated.
But he's very specific about how you have to do this. You can't just jot down a couple of things.
Right. No, that's the 10 points rule. You have to list at least 10 strengths and 10 weaknesses.
10, that sounds hard. I feel like I'd run out of steam around 5.
And that's the whole point. The easy ones are the superficial ones you'd say in a job interview. I work too hard.
Right.
The real work starts at number 7, number 8. When you finally have to admit, I get defensive when I get feedback or I procrastinate, that's where the real self-awareness is.
And he tells this story to illustrate the threats quadrant, the story of the paper tiger. This one hit me hard.
It hits everyone with a messy desk. The story is about procrastinating on organizing paperwork, just simple stuff. That's an internal weakness, disorganization.
Okay.
But because he ignored it, the papers piled up, and then one day he needs an important document for a meeting.
And he can't find it. The pressure is on.
Exactly. And now he looks incompetent. That internal weakness, laziness morphed into a very real external threat. Damage to his reputation.
The small, harmless-looking tack grew teeth.
It became a tiger. And the goal of the whole SWOT analysis isn't just to make a list. It's to convert. You convert weaknesses into strengths, and you convert threats into opportunities.
So Al-Habib does this whole painful analysis. And he has this huge realization. He's achieved all these goals. Graduation, marriage. But they were his father's goals. He never had his own grand dream.
Which brings us to vision versus mission. These are words that get thrown around a lot in the corporate world, but here the distinction is critical.
So break it down for us. What's the difference in the context of a person's life?
The vision is the what? It's the destination, the dream. The example in the book is to be among the top 10 leadership trainers in the Arab world in 10 years. It's super specific.
It's the high-definition picture of the future, the address you put in the GPS.
Exactly. So if that's the vision, the mission is the why and the how.
Okay.
It's your methodology. Who are you? Who do you serve? What are your guiding principles? If the vision is the mountaintop, the mission is your compass and your hiking boots.
I like that. The mountaintop stays fixed, but the path might change.
And the mission keeps you on that path. There's a quote in here that really stands out. If you don't have a vision, you will keep revolving around yourself until you fall.
Revolving, that's such a dizzying image.
It's the difference between being busy and being productive. Without a vision, you're just spinning your wheels. You're not actually going anywhere.
So we've got a vision, we've done our SWOT analysis, and now we run into the wall that stops everyone. Time.
Ah, yes, the universal excuse.
Al-Habib complains he has no time for his dream because he's just dealing with life, with debt, with everything.
And Al-Hasif just shuts that down. He brings up the Eisenhower matrix, the 4 quadrants, but he focuses on the difference between an organized and a disorganized person.
And it's not about having a neat desk, is it?
Yeah.
It's a mindset.
It is. The disorganized person lives in that urgent and important box. Constant crisis mode. They're always putting out fires.
They feel productive because they're busy and stressed.
Right. They're addicted to the adrenaline, but they're not actually building anything. They're just surviving.
And the organized person.
They live in the important but not urgent quadrant. They're all about planning, prevention, learning. They spend their time sharpening the axe so they don't have to chop so hard later.
But staying in that zone requires so much discipline. The beast we talked about earlier must hate that quadrant.
Oh, it despises it. Which is why Al-Hasif introduces a system of carrot and stick for the self. This is where the writer has to take control.
Like training a dog.
Literally. If the self performs well, if you get that report done, you must reward it. Take a break, get a coffee. But if the self slacks off,
out comes the stick.
You have to punish it, deny it a pleasure. If you wasted an hour scrolling, you don't get to watch your favorite show tonight. You have to enforce consequences on yourself.
That requires so much self-honesty, though.
But how can you lead other people if you can't even lead yourself? The quote is, do not ask of people what is not in you. If you can't keep a promise to yourself, how can anyone trust you to keep a promise to them?
And that transition from leading yourself to leading others, that's the final leap in the book, the leap to entrepreneurship.
Right. And entrepreneurship isn't just starting a business. The book defines it as converting ideas into profitable, sustainable projects. It's where all that internal work finally meets the real world.
And Al-Hasif gives Al-Habib these 5 questions to test if an idea is viable.
The 5 entrepreneurial questions: why, how, what, where, and when. It sounds so simple, but it forces you to turn that abstract dream into a concrete plan.
The biggest shift here, though, seems to be about risk. An entrepreneur can't play it safe.
They innovate, they take calculated risks, but, and this is so important, they don't do it alone. The final metaphor in the whole journey is the honeybee.
The more bees in the hive, the more honey is produced.
Exactly. Self-leadership starts alone, in your own head. But entrepreneurship ends with the hive. You have to build a team. You have to create a network. You cannot succeed by yourself.
It's the move from me to we.
Which leads perfectly to the final concept in the book, the zakat of knowledge.
Zakat being the Islamic concept of a charitable tithe, of giving back.
Al-Hasif argues that there's a zakat on knowledge too.
Yeah.
You don't truly master leadership until you give it away. You have to teach what you've learned. You have to pay it forward.
Wow. So to recap the whole journey, it starts with a view from above, that honest self-analysis.
And you create a written dream, your vision.
You learn to tame the beast with discipline, the carrot, and the stick.
And it all ends with building the hive, creating something with other people.
It really is a complete roadmap from inside your own head to out in the world.
It is. It's all about agency. Are you driving the car, or are you just luggage in the trunk?
So here's the question we want to leave everyone with today. It's something that's implied all through the book. And honestly, it's been bugging me since I read it.
Go for it.
If you looked at yourself right now, not as you, but as a separate employee that you manage, you're the CEO of your life, and you are on the payroll. You look at their work ethic, their focus, their attitude.
Would you hire them, or would you fire them?
Oof, that is a tough one to sit with.
But the answer to that question really determines your leadership potential. If you wouldn't hire yourself, you're not ready to hire anyone else.
And on that very provocative note, we're going to wrap up. Thanks for listening. Go tame that beast.
Good luck.